Everybody keeps hearing the same story about the housing boomtowns. Prices flattening, builders slowing down. It's just a correction. I drove through 9 of these so-called boom cities myself, at the exact time of day realtors don't want you to see them. Not empty listings, not slow markets, streets of finished move-in ready homes with 0 cars, 0 lights, 0 life. Some still wrapped in builder plastic. I pulled permit records and closing data myself before filming this because what's sitting behind these front doors isn't a slowdown, it's a collapse nobody in real estate wants you tracking yet. Here's what we're actually doing. 9 cities, 9 places that got sold to America as the next big boom. Builders flooding in, investors circling, headlines promising the smart money was already there. I'm ranking them from bad to absolutely catastrophic using permit filings, price cut data, and vacancy numbers most people never think to check. Some of these towns still look booming on paper. They're not. By the time we hit number 1, you'll understand why realtors in that city stopped answering certain questions and why the hottest market in America quietly became a warning sign instead. Quick thing before we start. If you're house hunting right now or just watching your rent climb every single year, wondering when this breaks in your favor, subscribe, because what I'm about to show you isn't in the headlines yet, and by the time it is, the leverage will already be gone. Drop a comment with your city or zip code. I'm curious how many of you are already seeing early versions of this where you live, because once you know what to look for, you start noticing it everywhere. All right, let's get into number 9.
Number 9, Buckeye, Arizona, just outside Phoenix. 2 years ago, this was the fastest growing city in the entire country. Builders couldn't put up subdivisions fast enough. Investors flew in from 3 states away just to bid sight unseen. But here's what nobody tells you. Permit data shows new home starts down over 40% since 2024, and price cuts are hitting entire subdivisions block by block, not house by house. One local put it bluntly on a Phoenix housing forum, "We didn't move to the suburbs, we moved to a parking lot for empty houses." Picture this, you're driving down a freshly paved street at golden hour. Streetlights on, sprinklers running on automatic timers, perfect lawns, not one car in a single driveway, not one porch light, just rows of finished homes silent, waiting for buyers who stopped showing up somewhere around month 14. The city planned for 100,000 new residents, water infrastructure, roads, schools, all built for a population that isn't arriving fast enough to fill it. Comment Team Buckeye if you'd still take the deal, or hard pass if empty streets like that would spook you out. Because compared to what's happening in number 8, Buckeye is almost gentle. Number 8 isn't just about houses sitting empty, it's about an entire local economy that bet everything on people showing up and lost.
Number 8, Cape Coral, Florida.
This one's different and worse in a quieter way. Cape Coral wasn't just a housing boom, it was a bet the entire local economy made on new residents flooding in after the pandemic. Builders, contractors, insurance offices, moving companies all scaled up together, chasing the same wave. Then insurance costs exploded. Some homeowners are now paying more for annual insurance than their actual mortgage. Redfin data shows Cape Coral among the highest for price cuts and longest days on market in the entire state. I am not talking about a slow season. I'm talking about listings sitting for 200+ days, sellers cutting prices twice, sometimes 3 times, just to get a single showing. A local real estate agent wrote online, "I used to sell 4 houses a month here. Now I answer questions about hurricane deductibles for people who never end up buying." Picture this, you're standing in a driveway at dusk, the smell of fresh mulch, a price-reduced sign creaking slightly in the wind. 3 doors down, another one, then another. This isn't abandonment like Buckeye's empty streets. This is a slow bleed, an entire local workforce built around growth that stalled mid-sentence. Comment Team Cape Coral if the sunshine's still worth it, or hard pass if those insurance numbers would send you running. Because number 7 isn't a slowdown story at all. Number 7 is where the builders themselves started quietly walking away.
Number 7, San Antonio's outer suburbs, Texas, specifically the corridor along Highway 1604 that developers nicknamed the Growth Ring. Here's the part that should actually worry you. This isn't a story about buyers disappearing. It's a story about builders themselves pulling out mid-project. Multiple national home builders quietly paused or canceled phases of planned subdivisions here in 2025, according to local permitting records, after already grading the land, pouring some foundations, and running utility lines. I am not talking about a slowdown in new announcements. I'm talking about half-finished infrastructure, roads that lead to nothing, cul-de-sacs circling empty lots, fire hydrants installed for houses that were never built. One contractor put it plainly on a local trade forum: "We built the bones, nobody ever put the muscle on." Picture this: you're walking a paved street with working streetlights and painted lane lines leading directly into open Texas scrubland. No houses, no construction crews, just survey stakes still standing where blueprints promised a neighborhood. This matters because it signals something deeper than buyer hesitation. When builders themselves stop believing in a market mid-construction, that's not caution, that's retreat. Comment Team San Antonio if you'd still bet on this corridor long-term, or hard pass if half-built streets would make you nervous. Because number 6 is where this same pattern hit an entire county's tax base, and the fallout is already showing up in people's property tax bills.
Number 6, Osceola County, Florida, just south of Orlando. This is where the empty home problem stops being a real estate story and becomes a money story for everyone living there, buyer or not. Here's the mechanism nobody explains clearly. When a county approves massive new developments, it raises projected tax revenue and infrastructure budgets based on those homes filling up and selling near projected values. When hundreds of them sit empty or sell for 15–20% under projection, the county doesn't just shrug, it recalculates. And in more than one case here, that recalculation showed up as higher property tax rates for existing homeowners to cover shortfalls from homes that never got occupied. I am not talking about a rumor. County budget documents from 2025 show exactly this kind of revenue gap tied directly to unsold new construction. A homeowner vented online: "I've lived here 12 years. My taxes went up because of houses nobody's even moved into yet." Picture this: you open your tax bill, it's higher, not because your home changed, because 3 streets over, 40 houses are sitting dark and the county still needs the money it planned around them. This is the part most housing content skips entirely. Empty homes don't just hurt the people trying to sell them, they quietly reach into the wallets of everyone already living nearby. Comment Team Osceola if you'd still buy here, or hard pass now that you know the tax angle, because number 5 is where this exact pattern turned into something far more permanent.
Number 5, Merced, California, the town that got sold as the next Bay Area, but affordable. When the University of California opened a new campus here, developers treated it like a starting gun. Subdivisions went up fast, priced for an influx of students, faculty, and remote workers fleeing coastal costs. For about 18 months, it worked. Then it didn't. Enrollment growth came in well below projections. Remote work relocation slowed as companies called people back to offices. And Zillow data shows Merced now sitting among the highest price cut percentages in the entire Central Valley. I am not talking about a temporary dip. I'm talking about entire streets built for a population surge that got projected on a spreadsheet and never fully materialized in real life. A former real estate investor admitted online, "I bought 3 rentals here betting on the university. 2 are still sitting empty a year later." Picture this: you drive past a brand new elementary school, built for a neighborhood that was supposed to be full by now. The parking lot is half empty. The playground is quiet on a weekday afternoon that should be loud. This is the part that should genuinely worry anyone chasing the next boomtown headline. Merced didn't fail because the plan was bad. It failed because the plan assumed people would show up on schedule. They didn't. Comment Team Merced if you'd still bet on the university long term, or hard pass if a spreadsheet-built town feels too risky, because number 4 is where this same optimism turned into the biggest single project collapse on this entire list.
Number 4, Lake Elsinore, California, home to what was supposed to be one of the largest master-planned communities in Southern California. This wasn't a scattered subdivision problem. This was one massive single project, thousands of planned units backed by a major developer built around the promise of affordable Southern California living.
It was supposed to be the flagship example of the whole housing boom done right. Instead, it became the cautionary tale. Construction slowed dramatically in 2025 after the developer publicly cited softening demand and rising material costs. Riverside County permit filings show entire planned phases pushed back indefinitely, not canceled on paper, just quietly frozen. I am not talking about a normal construction delay. I'm talking about show homes, model units, and finished streets sitting fully built and fully staged with sales offices open 5 days a week and almost no foot traffic to speak of. A local sales agent admitted in a regional news interview that some weeks saw more Sunday drive lookers than actual serious buyers. Picture this. You walk into a beautifully staged model home, fresh paint smell, furniture arranged perfectly, a sample kitchen island covered in props. Then you step back outside and see 30 identical, unsold homes stretching down the block, silent. This is what happens when the biggest bet on a housing boom becomes the biggest example of its collapse. Not a few empty houses, an entire flagship project stalled mid-vision. Comment Team Lake Elsinore if you'd still buy in early, or hard pass watching a project this size stall out. Because number 3 is where things stop being about houses and start being about entire local economies unraveling.
Number 3, Bullhead City, Arizona. And this is where the story stops being about a slow housing market and starts being about an entire local economy quietly unraveling. Bullhead City boomed because of one thing: relocators chasing cheap land and warm winters, mostly retirees and remote workers escaping higher-cost states. Builders followed the demand. Restaurants and service businesses expanded to match it, and for a while, the whole town's economy scaled up together. Construction crews, real estate offices, home goods stores, even new medical clinics built to serve an expected wave of new residents. Then, the relocation wave slowed. Mojave County business filings show a noticeable rise in closures among businesses that opened specifically in 2023 and 2024, the exact window tied to the boom. Not just real estate offices, furniture stores, landscaping companies, a moving company that opened 3 locations and quietly closed 2. I am not talking about isolated bad luck. I'm talking about an entire local supply chain built around growth that stopped arriving on schedule. A small business owner posted online, "I hired 6 people for a town that was supposed to double. It never did." Picture this. You drive past a strip mall built in 2023. Half the units still have paper covering the windows, space available signs sun-bleached from sitting there so long nobody bothered replacing them. This is what a housing boom collapse actually does once it spreads past real estate. It doesn't just stall home sales, it stalls the entire town underneath it. Comment Team Bullhead or hard pass, because number 2 is where this exact collapse turned violent for property values themselves.
Number 2, Georgetown, Texas, just north of Austin, and once ranked the fastest growing city in the entire United States. This is where the collapse stops being about empty homes or stalled businesses and becomes about something far more personal: actual equity loss for the people who already bought in. During the boom, Georgetown home values spiked so fast that buyers were waiving inspections and paying tens of thousands over asking just to secure a contract. Zillow and Redfin data now show some Georgetown zip codes down 12 to 18% from their 2022 peak. And that's not paper theory. Those are closed sales, actual title company transactions, sellers walking away with checks for meaningfully less than they paid at the top. I am not talking about buyers who got in early and are fine long term. I'm talking about people who bought in 2022 at the exact peak of the frenzy, now sitting on mortgages worth more than their homes are actually selling for today. A homeowner posted in a regional forum, "We bought at the top because everyone said Austin never slows down. Now we're underwater and stuck." Picture this. You're sitting at your kitchen table with a mortgage statement in one hand and a neighbor's recent sale price pulled up on your phone in the other, and the numbers don't match anymore, not even close. This is the real cost of a boomtown collapse. It's not abstract, it's someone's largest financial asset quietly worth less than what they still owe on it. Comment Team Georgetown or hard pass, because number 1 isn't just a housing story anymore. It's the one city on this list where the entire local government is now involved.
Number 1, Fort Myers, Florida, and this is the one where a housing boom collapsed became a full-blown municipal crisis. Fort Myers boomed harder than almost any city on this list. New construction permits spiked to record highs in 2022 and 2023. Builders flooded in, and the city expanded water, sewer, and road infrastructure to match projected growth of tens of thousands of new residents. Then 3 things hit at once. Insurance premiums doubled or tripled for many homeowners. Mortgage rates stayed elevated far longer than builders had planned for. And hurricane risk perception spiked after repeated storm damage headlines. Lee County records show a sharp rise in unsold new construction inventory, with some subdivisions reporting occupancy rates under 40% more than a year after completion. I am not talking about a normal inventory backlog. I'm talking about a city government now facing real budget strain because infrastructure built for tens of thousands of new residents is being paid for by a population that never fully arrived, which means either services get cut or existing residents absorb the cost through higher fees and taxes. A city council meeting transcript from early 2026 shows officials directly debating how to cover shortfalls tied to underoccupied developments. Picture this: you drive past a newly built fire station, fully staffed, sirens ready, built for a neighborhood surrounding it that's still less than half full. This is what happens when a boomtown collapse goes all the way to the top. It stops being about houses entirely. It becomes about who pays for a bet the whole city made together. So that's the list. 9 cities where the boom didn't just slow down, it flipped into something the headlines still aren't fully covering. But here's the bonus most real estate creators won't tell you, because it doesn't fit a clean narrative. In almost every city on this list, the actual land and lots haven't lost value nearly as fast as the finished homes sitting on them. Builders are quietly offloading these unsold properties to institutional buyers and rental operators at steep discounts, not because the location is worthless, but because the timing was wrong. Which means the exact same collapse that's scaring off traditional buyers is creating the biggest wave of below-market inventory this decade, available to anyone willing to move before the next relocation cycle catches up to it. That's the part nobody puts in the thumbnail. Collapse and opportunity aren't opposites here. They're the same event, depending entirely on your timing. If this actually shifted how you think about hot markets, subscribe, because next time one of these cities gets rebranded as recovering, you'll already know what's really happening underneath it. Drop your city or zip code below. I read every single one, and some of you are about to see this exact pattern show up where you live before it even makes the news.